Good evening, everybody. Welcome to SHN Sports presentation of Georgetown Eagle Baseball. I'm Wally Harmon, live here at Hendrickson High School. Game 2 of this head-to-head series between the Eagles and the Hawks. Delayed, no more. It comes to fruition here at 7 p.m. at Hendrickson High School here in Pflugerville, just off of 685 and Kelly Road. A beautiful night. Some cloud cover in the back, but a beautiful night of baseball. The field in great shape here at Hendrickson High School as they get ready for play here in just a moment. 320s down the line here at the Hawk Stadium. 353 to left center field, 348 to right center, and 400 feet to straightaway dead center field for tonight's ball game. Your Eagles come into the ball game 12-10-1 on the season, but don't let that fool you. They are 7-0 in district play. 5A Region 3 District 23 looks this way right now. Georgetown at top of the standings at 7-0. Eastview behind in second place at 5-3. Hendrickson and Elgin both tied at 4-3. Pflugerville sits at 4-4 in the middle of the pack. Cedar Creek at 3-4. Bastrop at 2-5. And Conley sits at 0-7. Eastview and Pflugerville able to get their second game in on Saturday the 8th. And Pflugerville, a two-game sweep to upset the Eastview Patriots and knock them from 5-1 to 5-3. So a three-game lead for Georgetown. Can be a four-game lead over second place if the Eagles can get a win tonight. Or it could be a three-game lead tonight if the Eagles get the win tonight here over the Hendrickson Hawks. The Hawks come in 16-5-1 overall, 4-3 in district play. Superintendent here at Hendrickson, at Pflugerville ISD is Dr. Douglas Killian, the principal at Hendrickson High School. Michael Greb, the athletic director for Pflugerville. Mike McCurchin, the athletic coordinator. Doug Pierce, and the athletic trainers, Scott Chambers and Victoria Rincon. Student manager, Noah Campbell. Student trainer, Bella Hinojosa and Bridget Milchling for the Hawks. Head coach is DJ Neely. His assistant coaches, Josh Bartz, J.R. Castillo, and Michael Peterson. The starting lineup for the home team, the Hendrickson Hawks tonight, as selected by head coach DJ Neely. Leading it off and playing right field is number 9. That's DJ Pinkerton. Batting second and playing shortstop, number 10, Jaden Rodriguez. Batting third and catching, number 7, Andrew Chamberlain. Batting fourth and on the mound, number 15, Cameron Williams. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 24, Miles Flores. Batting sixth and playing third base, number 21, Alex Jimenez. Batting seventh and playing second base, number 12, Kevin Haslam. Batting eighth and playing first base, number 14, Gavin Fierro. And batting ninth and playing left field, number 8, Brandon Clark. In the field defensively, in center field, is number 2, Jaden Ball. And he is going to be designated, the designated hitter will hit for Jaden Ball, the center fielder. So we'll have Pinkerton, Rodriguez, Chamberlain in the top third, Williams, Flores, and Jimenez in the middle third, Haslam, Fierro, Clark in the bottom third of the Hendrickson Hawk lineup. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply. G-Town Lumber and Supply, located at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers. Specializing in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, K-Det lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other. That is G-Town Lumber and Supply. Visit us 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit our website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. Here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow from Borrow from Morrow. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including the handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. Visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. Coach Neely and Coach Vieira, along with team manager and do-it-all Jared Frimmel, meet at home plate with the two-man umpiring crew to get things started off here for tonight's ball game. The hometown Hendrickson Hawks will be in the cream white uniforms, in the cream white pants and tops, navy blue numerals, and navy blue lettering across the front of those uniform tops. The Hendrickson H not in their logo on the right chest, and the front numbers are navy as well, in a dark navy hat with the Hendrickson logo on the front of it. Your visiting Eagles come in with the white pants with the black and blue stripes down the side, the black jerseys with the blue numerals and lettering with the G logo on the front, outlined in blue and white, and they'll have on the black hats with the Eagle Talon on the front. A lot of good things going on at Georgetown High School sports right now. The district track meet will take place this week over at Eastview High School, and the state soccer tournament to take place at Birkelbach Field starting on Wednesday. And more importantly, it features your Georgetown Lady Eagles, the soccer team, in the state semifinals. And they will play at noon on Thursday in the state semifinals of the soccer state tournament. And congratulations to another district opponent school for District 23, the Conley Cougars boys soccer team in the state semifinals as well. So District 23 well represented in the state soccer tournament in 5A, with one girls team and one boys team out of our district playing for a state title. The shake of the hands between Coach Neely and Coach Vieira take place, and now we'll get ready for the PA announcer to start things off. What we'll do is we'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have the national anthem, and after that, we'll bring you the starting lineup for your Georgetown Eagles, and we'll be ready to play baseball. You're listening live to Georgetown Eagle Baseball from Pflugerville, Hendrickson High School in Pflugerville, Texas, here on SHN. We'll be right back with Eagle Baseball in just a moment. back here live at Hendrickson High School in Pflugerville, Texas, as they finish up introducing the Hendrickson Hawks, their starting lineup and the rest of their bench players for the Hawks. The Eagles already have been introduced and stand along the third baseline. The Eagles will be in the third base dugout tonight. The Hawks, the home team, in the first base dugout here for tonight's ball game. A beautiful ball game here tonight. All grass field, dirt infield with a turf home plate area. And so a different field, but in great shape here at Hendrickson High School. Let's take a short time out for the national anthem, and we'll be right back with Eagle Baseball in just a minute. And into left field for a leadoff single. So the Eagles on board have Devin Peterson on board. The leadoff single to start things off here in the top of the first. That'll bring up the shortstop, Eli Hellman. The Georgetown Lumber and Supply starting lineup for your Eagles in center field. Number 17, Devin Peterson. Batting second, playing shortstop, the senior, number 2, Eli Hellman. He'll step in here from the right side to face off against Cam Williams. First pitch is outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. These two teams met last Tuesday. Georgetown winning it 5-0. Williams, the lefty, comes set from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Hellman squares the bunt, pulls it back, and takes it for a called strike. 1-1 the count now to Eli Hellman. Here in the top, it's coming in out of the right field area. Hellman in from the right side to face the lefty, Cam Williams. Throw over to first base. Peterson back standing easily there. 1-1 the count to Eli Hellman here. Batting third for the Eagles tonight. This senior third baseman, number 4, Brady Peters. Now a pick off, and Peterson takes off for second base, and he's going to slide in there. They had him picked off. The throw from Fierro to the shortstop was high and drew the throw away from Peterson, so he's in there at second base with a stolen base. So now a 1-1 count to Hellman. The man in scoring position here to start the top of the first. So Devin Peterson with the stolen base. He'll lead off. Cam Williams comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Hellman squares the bunt, takes it outside for a ball. 2-1 the count now to Eli Hellman. Hellman back in from the right side. Williams comes set. 1-2 pitch, bunted foul, back to the screen. 2-1 pitch, and now it's 2-2 to Eli Hellman. Batting fourth for the Eagles tonight, playing first base, number 21, Riley Leininger. Batting fifth at second base, number 20, Talon Ball. Batting sixth, playing left field, number 10 is Andrew Nations. Williams comes set. A look back at second base, and now the 2-2 pitch to Hellman, and Hellman pops it back out of play. So he'll stay alive in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here in the top of the first. 2-2 count to Hellman. Devin Peterson got a full count to start it off to lead off the top of the first. And then drove the 3-2 pitch into left field for the base hit. Now he's down at second on a stolen base. Williams, the 2-2 pitch. And that one's going to hit Hellman. So the first 2 men aboard for the Eagles here in the top of the first. So 2 quality at-bats to start the ball game for the Eagles. And that'll bring up number 4, senior Brady Peters, the third baseman. He'll step in from the right side with no outs and runners on first and second. Cam Williams working from the stretch with runners on first and second. First pitch to Peters. He squares the bunt. He'll lay the bunt down out in front of the mound. Williams will field it. His only play to first base and just in time. So the sacrifice bunt works and moves both runners up a base to second and third. Nice bunt there by Peters. Sacrifices himself to move up Hellman and Peterson, both into scoring position now. And that'll bring up the first baseman, number 21, Riley Leininger. The lefty will step in here with 1 out. Runners on second and third. Williams comes set. The first pitch to Leininger. Outside corner, called strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to Riley Leininger. With 1 out and runners on second and third. Devin Peterson leads off third. Eli Hellman leads off second. The 0-1 pitch stays just high for a ball. 1-1 now, the count to Leininger. First inning action brought to you by Matt Morrow. Borrowfrommorrow.com. The 1-1 pitch down in the turf. Nice block there by Chamberlain to keep it in front of him. The runners stay put. The count moves to 2-1 now on Leininger. Talon Ball on deck here for the Eagles in the top of the first. Cam Williams comes set. The 2-1 pitch stays high. Ball 3. A 3-1 count now. The junior first baseman, Riley Leininger. Williams comes set. Peterson off third. Hellman off second. The 3-1 pitch. It's in there for a called strike, and the count goes full now to Leininger. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Leininger back in from the left side, ready to go. Cam Williams a look in, gets the sign from Chamberlain. The payoff pitch. Leininger grounds it out to the second baseman. His only play to first, but that's going to get a run in here in the top of the first. Good job there on the RBI ground out by Leininger. The play made there by Haslam to Fierro, 4-3 on the putout. And that scores Devin Peterson from third base. So the Eagles lead it 1-0. Here in the top of the first, Eli Hellman moves up to third base, and that'll bring up Talon Ball, the second baseman, with 2 outs here in the top of the first. First pitch misses the ball. 1-0 the count to the junior second baseman. Williams now from the windup. The 1-0 pitch to Talon Ball. That one's down in the turf for ball 2. Talon, a key contributor there in the bottom of the 6th at home on Tuesday last week against these Hawks. Sent a 2-2 pitch over the left field wall for a 3-run bomb. The 2-0 pitch catches the outside corner. 2-1 now the count to the second baseman, Talon Ball. Talon's 3rd home run on the season opened that game up. The 2-1 pitch from Williams, and Ball slaps it foul down the first baseline out of play. And the count goes even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here in the top of the first, 1-0. Eagles push 1 across. With Eli Hellman down at third base and 2 outs here in the top of the first. Cam Williams from the windup. The 2-2 pitch to Talon Ball. Ball sends it out towards second. Fierro or Haslam up with it. Fires the first in time for out number 3. 4-3 on the putout. And the Eagles are retired here in the top of the first, but not before they pick up 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After half an inning, Georgetown 1. Hendrickson coming up to bat. More Eagle baseball in just a moment here on SHN. In business here in the bottom of the first inning. Big triple to lead things off for Pinkerton and the Hawks. That'll bring up Jaden Rodriguez, the shortstop. Hawks would love to tie it up here quickly in the bottom of the first. Fluid will work from the stretch here to Jaden Rodriguez, the shortstop. Bats from the right side. The first pitch outside for a ball. 1-0 the count to Rodriguez with Andrew Chamberlain, the catcher, on deck for the Hawks. Fluid comes set. The 1-0 pitch popped up on the infield. And Fluid's going to call for it in front of the mound and make the catch for out number 1. P1 in the book to retire Rodriguez. And that'll bring up the catcher, Andrew Chamberlain, with 1 out and a runner at third base. Chamberlain, the catcher, steps in from the right side as well. Chamberlain 1 for 3 in the first meeting last week between these two teams. Pinkerton was 0 for 3. Changes that here early in tonight's ball game with the triple to lead things off at the bottom of the first for the Hawks. Fluid the look in. He'll come set from the stretch. The first pitch to Chamberlain misses outside for a ball. 1-0 the count to Chamberlain with Cameron Williams, the pitcher, on deck for Hendrickson. Fluid gets the sign. The 1-0 pitch down on the turf. Nice block there by Pernica. 2-0 the count to Chamberlain. Pinkerton unable to advance there. Great block by Chance Pernica, the senior catcher. Other action tonight, District 23. Elgin is at Cedar Creek and Conley at Bastrop to finish off the game 2s of the series. The 2-0 pitch sails high, ball 3. 3-0 the count now to the catcher, Andrew Chamberlain, with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. A leadoff triple by DJ Pinkerton, and he stands down at third base with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. The Hawks trail by 1, trying to even things up. 3-0 pitch right down Main Street, popped up on the right side. Baltasek will come in a shallow right field. He'll make the catch. Pinkerton's going to head for home. Here comes the throw, but it's going to get over the head of Pernica, and that's going to allow Pinkerton to score. It'll be the first, I believe they'll record it on a throwing error there. Sailed over the catcher, Pernica's head, and got all the way to the backstop, which is a long way away. That allows Pinkerton to score from third base to tie this one up at 1 apiece. F9 in the book for the second out to retire Chamberlain, and that'll bring up Cameron Williams, the pitcher. He'll step in from the left side. He'll square to bunt. Bunts it foul down the third baseline. No 1 count now to Cameron Williams. Williams back in from the left side. Fluid back into the windup with 2 outs and a base is empty. The 0-1 pitch, slowing outside, ball 1. 1-1 count to Williams with the DH. Miles Flores on deck for the Hawks. Flewitt, the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball hit out towards first. Leininger will field it, and he'll take it 3 unassisted for the third out of the inning to retire Hendrickson, but not before they pick up a run on 1 hit. I'm going to go with 1 error at the time being. And no one left on base. After 1 complete inning, the tie ball game, 1-1 your score. After this break, we'll be back with more Georgetown Eagle baseball. Inning number 1 brought to you by Matt Morrow. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including our handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com, NMLS 464148. More baseball after this on SHN. Come back to Hendrickson High School here for the top of the second inning. Nations, Rainey, and Pernica do appear in the top of the second for the Eagles. 1 run on 1 hit. No errors in the bottom of the first there for the Hawks. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Williams out of the windup. First pitch is low and in the turf. Gets all the way to the backstop. Ball 1 to Andrew Nations, who the left fielder steps in from the left side. Sun starting to set here in Pflugerville. The 1-0 pitch. Low and outside. Ball 2 to Andrew Nations. 2-0 the count. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error for the Eagles. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors for the Hawks. The 2-0 pitch way outside. Ball 3. 3-0 count now. To the left fielder, Andrew Nations. Jackson Rainey, the junior designated hitter on deck for your Eagles. Williams from the windup, the 3-0 pitch. Misses low and outside, ball 4. And it's a leadoff walk. Second inning in a row, the Eagles get the leadoff man aboard here in tonight's ball game. First walk issued on the night by Cameron Williams. And that'll bring up the left-handed hitting DH, Jackson Rainey. So another lefty-lefty matchup here for the Eagles. Chamberlain communicates with Jimenez, and he's about 2 steps in on the grass down at third base. Vieira will hold Nations on at first base. Williams to the stretch. The first pitch to Rainey is low for a ball. 1-0 the count. 24 pitches thrown in the top of the first by Cam Williams. He gave up 1 hit, 1 run, walks 1 now here in the second. Comes set from the stretch, the 1-0 pitch. Right down the middle, and that'll even up the count to Jackson Rainey, 1-1. G-Town Lumber and Supply brings you a second inning action of Georgetown Eagle baseball here tonight. Williams comes set, a look over at first base. The 1-1 pitch, low and outside, ball 2, 2-1 now the count to Jackson Rainey. All alone here tonight in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com broadcast booth. The 2-1 pitch, Rainey off his fist, and it's going to get through into left field. A base hit. Nation circles second base, but he'll return quickly as the throw comes in from Clark. So the first 2 men on again here in the second inning on another base hit for the Eagles. Jackson Rainey takes advantage of the third baseman Jimenez playing in, and the lefty punches it through into left field. Second hit of the ball game for your Eagles, and now runners on first and second with no outs. Here in the top of the second, Chance Pernicka, the catcher, will step in from the right side, the senior catcher, for his first appearance tonight here in the 8-hole. Williams comes set. Pernicka squares the bunt, but bunts it back foul towards the backstop. 0-1 the count to Chance Pernicka. Jacob Faltasek, the right fielder, on deck for the Eagles. The 0-1 pitch to Pernicka. Inside corner, called strike 2. Now Pernicka in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. I'll catch up now. I apologize. The 0-2 pitch to Pernicka, and he'll pop it back towards the screen and stay alive in the at-bat. No balls and 2 strikes. With no outs and runners on first and second here in the top of the second. Andrew Nations led off with a walk here in the top of the second. Jackson Rainey with a base hit. Cam Williams comes set. Now he'll step off and reset. No balls and 2 strikes to Pernicka. The 0-2 pitch. Outside misses for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now the count to the catcher, Chance Pernicka. Pernicka back in from the right side, ready to go. Nations leads off second, Rainey off first. Cam Williams, the 1-2 pitch, way up and out. Andrew Nations going to take off for third, and he's going to steal it. And a double steal is a delayed steal there for Rainey. So 2 stolen bases for the Eagles. Now moves the runners into scoring position with no outs and a 2-2 count to Chance Pernicka. Three stolen bases on the night now for the Eagles. The 2-2 pitch to Pernicka. Pernicka right back up the middle into center field. That'll score Nations from third. Here comes Rainey from second, and he'll easily score a 2 RBI single for Chance Pernicka, and the Eagles take a 3-1 lead here in the top of the second. Great piece of hitting there by Pernicka. With a 2-2 count, the infield playing in. And now we'll finally get it updated. 3-1, 3-1 your score. Georgetown leads it over Hendrickson. And Jacob Faltasek will step in with no outs and a runner at first base. It'll be a courtesy runner for the catcher, Pernicka. Looks like it's going to be Noah Boris. He'll lead off first base. Square to bunt. Faltasek will take it for a called strike. 0-1 to count to Jacob Faltasek. One pitch to Faltasek. He'll bunt it, but he misses it back into the catcher's mitt for a strike. 0-2 now the count to Jacob Faltasek. The 0-2 pitch. Faltasek grounds it foul, stays alive in the at-bat. No balls and 2 strikes. No outs with the runner on first. A 2 RBI single for Chance Pernicka opens it up. 3-1 lead now for the Eagles here in the top of the second. Williams comes set. The 0-2 pitch. Faltasek takes it low in the turf. Good block there by Chamberlain. Keeps the runner at first base for the Eagles. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count to Jacob Faltasek, the number 9 hitter in the Eagle lineup. Devin Peterson, the leadoff man, on deck for the Eagles. Williams comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Faltasek takes it way outside for ball 2, and the count evens up now. 2-2 to the senior right fielder. Faltasek visited with us last Wednesday on the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. Found out some interesting information. Very diverse young man. Faltasek, the 2-2 pitch. Takes it low and in the turf. That's going to allow Boris to take off to second, and he'll dive in safely there. Boris got a good jump there as the ball was down in the turf. Another stolen base for the Eagles, a runner in scoring position, and a full count to Jacob Faltasek. So another runner in scoring position here in the top of the second with 2 runs already across. Williams comes set. The payoff pitch to Faltasek. Strike 3 called. Wow, what a call there. Faltasek down on strikes for out number 1. First strikeout of the ball game for Williams. That'll bring up Devin Peterson. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. First pitch to Peterson, and he'll foul it off down the first baseline. It'll curl out of play. 0-1 the count to the junior center fielder, Devin Peterson. Noah Boris, the courtesy runner for Pernica down at second base. With 1 out here in the top of the second. 3-1 your score. Georgetown with 1 in the first, 2 here in the second. Williams comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Peterson takes it outside for a ball. Count evens up at 1-1. Williams from the stretch. A look back at second base as he comes set. The 1-1 pitch to Peterson. Peterson fouls it off back out of play for strike 2. 1-2 now the count to Devin Peterson, with Eli Hellman, the shortstop, on deck for the Eagles. Williams comes set. Another look at second. The 1-2 pitch. Peterson hits it into left field. The runner was off on it, and he's going to score easily. Boris scores from second base. An RBI single makes it 4-1 for your Eagles. Devin Peterson, 2 for 2 on the night now. 4th hit of the ball game for the Eagles. Scores the 4th run. And now Eli Hellman step up. He was hit by a pitch in his first at bat, left stranded at third base. So Devin Peterson, an RBI single. Scores Boris. 4-1 as Hellman steps in with the runner on first and 1 out here in the top of the second. Williams comes set. The first pitch to Hellman. Hellman pops it up on the infield. High fly ball. 3 infielders call for it, and it'll be the third baseman. Jimenez will take it and make the catch for out number 2. P5 in the book to retire Hellman. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Brady Peters. 2 outs here in the top of the second. Peters laid down a beautiful sacrifice bunt to move up the runners in the top of the first. Steps in here. 2 outs and a runner on first base. Peterson leads off first, being held on by Fierro. He's off and running. Chamberlain hesitates, and it's not going to be anywhere close there as Peterson steals his second base of the night. 5th stolen base of the ball game for Eagle runners. Chamberlain hesitated, didn't have anyone covering. He hesitated to throw down, and Peterson got a good jump there. And now 1-0 the count to Brady Peters with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Williams comes set to look at second base. The 1-0 pitch. Up high and outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count now to Brady Peters. Four to 1 your score. We're in the top of the second. 1 run in the first. 3 here in the second for the Eagles. Williams comes set. Now he'll step off. Devin Peterson will retreat to second base. Everyone resets as Brady Peters steps back in from the right side. Williams will come set from the stretch. The 2-0 pitch. Ball hit down the first baseline. Fierro, he'll gobble it up and take it 3 unassisted for out number 3 to retire Peters. but not before the Eagles do more damage here in the top of the second. They put 3 on the board thanks to 3 base hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After 1.5, 4-1 your score. Georgetown leads it over the Hendrickson Hawks. G-Town Lumber and Supply, located at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers, specializing in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, Cadet Lumber, and Corbel's hometown service like none other. That is G-Town Lumber and Supply. Visit us at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit them online at gtownlumberandsupply.com. Back with more Eagle Baseball after this in just a moment on SHN. Back here going to the bottom of the second. And the Hendrickson Hawks will bring up the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Miles Flores, Alex Jimenez, and Kevin Haslam here to face off against Fluid on for his second inning of work for the Eagles. Flores will step in from the right side. Fluid will start from the windout here in the bottom of the second with a 3-run lead. The first pitch to Flores, a ground ball slapped foul. 0-1 the count to the designated hitter, Miles Flores. Fluid a look in, now will come set. The 0-1 pitch. Just misses low and outside, ball 1, evens up the count now. 1-1. To the DH, Flores. Flores back in from the right side, Fluid from the windup. The 1-1 pitch. Misses outside, ball 2, 2-1 the count. Alex Jimenez, the third baseman. Kevin Haslam, the second baseman. Due up here in the bottom of the second for the Hawks. Fluid ready to go. The 2-1 pitch to Flores. Misses low and inside, ball 3. 3-1 count now to Miles Flores. Fluid from the windup. The 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Now a full count. Thirteen pitches thrown in the first inning for Fluid. Gets the sign from the windup. The payoff pitch. Just misses outside. A leadoff walk has Flores aboard for the Hawks. Here in the bottom of the second, first walk issued by Fluid here in the ball game. And that'll bring up number 21, the third baseman, Alex Jimenez. The number 6 hitter in the Hawk lineup. He'll step in from the right side. Fluid will move to the stretch. Flores will lead off first base. Leininger holds him on there. Jimenez squares the bunt. Peters charges in about 15 feet. The pitch, the bunt down the first baseline, but it's going to be pushed foul. So Jimenez behind in the count. No balls and 1 strike here. Oh, and 1 the count to Jimenez. He'll square the bunt again. Here comes Peters. Fluid comes set from the stretch. Pickoff attempt. Flores will dive back in safely at first base. Thursday at noon, the Georgetown Lady Eagles soccer team takes on unnamed opponent. I don't know who it is in the state semifinals in the state soccer tournament. The 0-1 pitch. Jimenez swinging, chops it out towards short. Hellman will field it, but he'll drop it, and he won't have a play there. So that'll be the second error of the ball game for the Eagles, and that'll have 2 men aboard here in the bottom of the second. E6 on that one. Flores moves up to second base. And Jimenez down at first base with no outs, and that'll bring up Kevin Haslam, the second baseman, number 12. He'll step in from the right side. 4-1 here in the bottom of the second. Eagles lead it. Haslam squares the bunt. Fluid, the first pitch to Haslam. Haslam will bunt it down the third baseline. Fluid will have to field it, but there's not going to be a play there as Peter stayed back towards third base. So a bunt single for Haslam has the bases loaded full of Hawks. Second base hit in the ball game for the Hawks. That'll load them up for Gavin Fierro, the first baseman. He did not appear in game number 1 back on the 4th of April. Steps in here with the bases loaded. No outs in the bottom of the second. Steps in from the right side. Fluid will come set from the stretch. First pitch, outside corner, called strike 1. On deck, the left fielder, Brandon Clark, for the Hawks. Fierro back in from the right side. The 0-1 pitch from Fluid. Misses outside for ball. 1-1 the count. Bases full of Hawks here with no outs in the bottom of the second. They trail by 3. Fluid comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Fierro takes it on the inside corner for a called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count. To Fierro. Fluid will come set. The 1-2 pitch. Misses inside for ball 2. 2-2 now the count to Fierro. Fierro back in from the right side. Fluid comes set. The 2-2 pitch. Foul ball slapped down the first baseline. Fierro stays alive in the at-bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The bases loaded full of Hawks here in the bottom of the second. 1 run in the first, 3 in the second for the Eagles. 1 run in the bottom of the first to answer. And the Hawks try to answer the 3 in the top half of this inning with the bases loaded, no outs. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Fierro down on strikes for out number 1. That'll bring up the left fielder, Brandon Clark. First strike out of the ballgame by Fluid. And that's a big one there as that brings up the number 9 hitter, the left fielder, Brandon Clark. Tuesday night's ball game, Clark was 0 for 2. He walked back in the first inning of that ball game and then 2 groundouts. Steps in here with 1 out, the bases loaded from the right side. Clark steps in. Fluid comes set. The first pitch to Clark. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Oh, 1-1 the count to Brandon Clark. Top of the lineup, DJ Pinkerton on deck for the Hawks. Georgetown would love a double play ground ball here. Fluid comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Clark takes it and just missed for ball 1. 1-1 now the count to the left fielder, Clark. Fluid looks in, gets the sign from the catcher, Pernica. He'll come set from the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Clark pops it up on the infield. Shallow center field. Devin Peterson will come in and make the catch, and he'll come up and fire it in. It's going to get past the catcher. Fluid's going to have to go and get it. So another throwing error from the outfield allows a run to score here and the runners to move up. So a fly ball out for Clark, F8 in the book. But that'll score Flores, the throwing error from the center fielder, Peterson. So E8 in the book allows that run to score. Allows Menez to move up to third and Haslam to move up to second base. 2 outs here. And DJ Pinkerton 1 for 1 of the ball game. Tripled to lead off at the bottom of the first for the Hawks. First pitch from Fluid. A swing and a miss. Strike 1. Pinkerton scored the only run of inning number 1 for the Hawks. There's an opportunity to do some more damage here in the bottom of the second with runners on second and third and 2 outs. 4-2 your score. The 0-1 pitch misses low and inside, ball one. Count evens up to 1-1. Flew it back to the windup. The 1-1 pitch to Pinkerton. Swing and a miss, strike two. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. 4-2 the score. The Hawks have answered with one of their own here in the bottom of the second. Have runners on second and third. Jimenez down at third. Haslam down at second. The 1-2 pitch fouled off back to the screen. Pinkerton stays alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two throwing errors from the outfield have accounted for the 2 Hawk runs. Pinkerton sends this one into center field. Devin Peterson will track it. He'll make the catch for out number 3. And the Hawks are retired here in the bottom of the second. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base after 2 complete innings. 4-2 your score. Georgetown leads it over Hendrickson. G-Town Lumber and Supply, proud sponsor of Georgia Eagle Baseball here on SHN. G-Town Lumber and Supply.com. 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas. Specializing dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, K-Dat Lumber and Corbels. Hometown service like none other. That is G-Town Lumber and Supply. Quick timeout. Back with the top of the third. More Eagle Baseball in a moment here on SHN. We go to the top of the third inning. 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up here for the Eagles. Leininger, Ball, and Nations due up for the Eagles. Leininger had an RBI ground out back in the first. 0 for 1 here in the ball game. We'll lead off the bottom of the top of the third. First pitch swinging, fouls it off back to the screen. 0-1 the count to the first baseman, Riley Leininger. The 0-1 pitch popped up. Cam Williams on for his third inning of work from the windup. The 0-2 pitch to Leininger. This is just low and outside, ball 1. 1-2 the count now. To Leininger, the first baseman, the big lefty, back in the box, ready to go. Cam Williams, the left-hander from the windup, works from the third base side of the rubber. The 1-2 pitch. Misses low and inside, ball 2, and now the count even for Leininger, 2-2. Williams from the windup, the 2-2 pitch. Low and outside, ball 3. Leininger's worked himself a full count now. They're falling behind, 0-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. To Leininger leading off here in the top of the third for the Eagles, a 2-run lead, 4-2. Cam Williams from the windup, the payoff pitch. Low and outside, ball 4. And for the third inning in a row, the Eagles have the leadoff man aboard. Second walk issued by Cam Williams. And that'll bring up Talon Ball, but not before a visit from DJ Neely, the coach of the Hendrickson Hawks. Quick timeout. More Eagle Baseball in a moment on SHN. the visit to the mound over there for the Hawks. Leininger down at first base. Need to clear those outs. Apologize there. Here in the top of the third, Talon Ball steps in with no outs and a runner on first. He'll square to bunt, takes it back, and it's low and in the turf for ball one. Talon 0 for 1 in the ball game, grounded out to the second baseman to end the first. Steps in here with no outs. A runner at first here in the top of the third. Leininger, the leadoff walk, leads off first. Fierro holds him on there. The 1-0 pitch, ball squares the bunt. And it's called a strike there, so that'll even up the count. 1-1 to Talon Ball, the second baseman. Leininger down at first base, leads off there. Pickoff attempt. Leininger quickly standing back at second base, safe. 1-1 the count to Talon Ball here with no outs in the top of the third and a runner at first. Another pickoff attempt. Leininger dives back in safely there. 5 stolen bases by Eagle runners here through the first 2 innings. Williams comes set from the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. It's a wild pitch. Got away from the catcher, Chamberlain. He had no chance at that. And that wild pitch will allow Leininger to move up into scoring position. The first wild pitch of the ball game recorded for Cameron Williams. And now a runner in scoring position for the Eagles. 2-1 the count now to Talon Ball. Here in the top of the third, the 2-1 pitch. Ball squares the bunt. He does out in front of the mound. A beautiful bunt. Chamberlain's going to call for it, but there's no way he's getting Talon Ball. That's an infield bunt single for Talon Ball. And now runners on the corners with no outs. What a hustle there by Talon Ball. 5th hit of the ball game for Eagle hitters. And that'll bring up Andrew Nations, the left fielder. He led off inning number 2 with a base on balls. Ended up stealing third base. And scored the first run of the second inning. Now Eagles with runners on the corners. I'll get it straightened down here in just a second. Nation steps in from the left side with runners on the corners and no outs. Ball leads off first base. Leininger off third. Nation squares the bunt. Talon Ball is going to take a swipe at second base, and he'll steal second base. And now runners at second and third. 6th stolen base of the night for the Eagles. Nations took the first pitch for a called strike. 0-1 count to Andrew Nations. The lefty steps back in. Cam Williams from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch. Nations will send it into center field. Pinkerton, or Ball, will get a read on it. But that's going to be a beautiful sac fly there by Nations. And a throwing error from the outfield is going to allow Talon Ball to score all the way from second as he scores. What a play there. Jaden Ball held on to it in center field. So Ball took off for third base, and when Jaden Ball threw it, it got past the third baseman Jimenez all the way to the Eagle dugout. And so what a job there. A sacrifice fly by Andrew Nations for out number 1. But 2 runs come in to score. The Eagles take a 4-run lead, 6-2. Another visit from head coach Neely here for the Hawks, and it looks like they're going to go to the bullpen. We'll take a quick timeout. More Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. Welcome back. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones Financial Advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you this call to the bullpen. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. The Hendrickson Hawks bring in Jake McGuire to pitch here in the top of the third inning. See if there's any other defensive changes here for the Hawks. Looks like Cameron Williams will come out of the ball game. As Vieira will stay down at first base. So Jake McGuire in to pitch. And he'll face off against the DH Jackson Rainey, who is 1 for 1 in the ball game. Swing and a miss, strike one on the first pitch from McGuire. Base is empty. McGuire pitches out of the stretch anyway. The 0-1 pitch to Rainey. And Rainey slaps it down the first baseline, but it's pulled foul. 0-2 now the count to Jackson Rainey, the DH for the Eagles. If we didn't have Wi-Fi connectivity problems, it wouldn't be baseball tonight. The 0-2 pitch, Rainey hits it right back up middle. The shortstop will field it. The throw across from Rodriguez in time to retire Jackson Rainey for out number 2. 6-3 on the putout. And that'll bring up the catcher, Chance Pernica. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. He had a 2 RBI single back in the second inning. First pitch to Pernica misses inside for a ball. 1-0 the count to Chance. 2-1 now the count to the catcher, Chance Pernica. 2 outs here in the top of the third. 2 runs across here in the inning for the Eagles. 6-2 lead. McGuire comes set, the 2-1 pitch. Misses up and away, ball 3. 3-1 now the count to the catcher, Chance Pernica. With Jacob Faltasek on deck for the Eagles. McGuire comes set from the stretch. The 3-1 pitch. Pernica sends it into center field. Ball on his horse, backs up and settles under it to make the catch for out number 3. F8 to retire Pernica, but not before the Eagles pick up 2 more runs here in the top half of the third. 2 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and no runners left on base after 2.5 innings. 6-2 your score. Georgetown leads it over Hendrickson. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones Financial Advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. Nathaniel Funk brings you the third inning of Eagle Baseball here on SHN. Quick timeout. Back with the bottom in just a moment. Go to the bottom of the third, and it'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up for the Hawks. Here in the bottom of the third, Rodriguez, Chamberlain, and Williams, they all 3 step in. 0 for 1 here in the ball game. They face off against Fluid. for their second time. The first pitch popped up, back out of play for strike one for Rodriguez. Flew 13 pitches in inning number 1, 23 in the second. Works ahead of Rodriguez, 0-1 here in the bottom of the third. Flew from the windup. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball out towards third. Peter backhands it. He's standing on the right on the grass. Playing up at third base. Snags it and throws it across the diamond in time to retire Rodriguez. 5-3 on the putout for out number 1. Nice play there by Brady Peters. And that'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Andrew Chamberlain, the catcher. Chamberlain 0 for 1 on a flyout to right field to fall to second. Steps in here with 1 out, and the base is empty here in the bottom of the third. 6-2. Georgetown had 1 run in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third. The Hawks have responded with 1 of each of their own in the bottom of the first and second. And now Chamberlain with the bases empty and 1 out takes the first pitch from Fluid outside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. To the right-handed hitting Chamberlain with Miles Flores, the DH. Or correction, the pitcher Jake McGuire on deck for Cameron Williams. The 1-0 pitch misses for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Chamberlain. Fluid gets the sign from the windup. The 2-0 pitch. Misses inside, ball 3. 3-0 the count. The 3-0 pitch. It's in there for a called strike. 3-1 now the count. A 3-1 pitch. Popped up into center field. Devin Peterson about 3 steps back. He'll settle under it and make the catch. For out number 2, F8 in the book to retire Chamberlain. That'll bring up the pitcher, at number 11, Jake McGuire. McGuire steps in from the right side. The first pitch misses outside for a ball. 1-0 the count to McGuire. The 1-0 pitch sent out towards second base. Down the ball ranges to his left, and it skips under him into right field. So a 2-out single there by McGuire to keep the inning alive. Third hit of the ball game for the Hawks brings up Miles Flores. He led off the second inning with a base on ball. Steps in here with a runner at first and 2 outs. Now a courtesy runner for the Hawks. Will be number 6. That'll be James Lee running for the pitcher, McGuire. First pitch. Peters up on the grass. Gets past him into left field for a base hit. And that'll move Lee up to third base. First pitch swinging there by Miles Flores, and he sends it into. No balls, 1 strike to Jimenez with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Runners on the corners for the Hawks. Fluid from the stretch. Another throw over to first base, and Flores will dive in safely there. Fluid, the left-handed pitcher, and in his third inning of work here for the Eagles tonight. Settles in the 0-1 pitch. Jimenez a swing and a miss, strike 2. Fluid comes set, the 0-2 pitch. Just inside. Pernica popped off of his glove. Neither runner advances. 1-2 now the count to Jimenez. 2 outs and runners on the corners here in the bottom of the third. The Hawks trying to scratch back into this one. Down 4 now, 6-2. Fluid gets the sign and comes set. The 1-2 pitch. And a ball fisted over the shortstop helmet, but he's going to make it the play into left field. What a play there by Eli Hellman. L6 in the book for out number 3 to retire Jimenez. And the Hawks go down without any runs here in the bottom of the third. No runs on 2 hits. No errors and 2 runners left on base. After 3 complete, 6-2 your score. The Eagles lead it over the Hawks. More Eagle baseball in a minute after this. Go to the top of the 4th inning. The Eagles will bring up the 9-1-2 hitters here for the Eagles. Falta sends the first pitch into center field. Jaden Ball, a couple of steps back, settles under it, and makes the catch for out number 1. F8 in the book to retire Falta. That'll bring up Devin Peterson, who's 2 for 2 in the ball game. RBI single in the second, a single and 2 stolen bases, a run scored. A good night here for Devin Peterson as he steps in. With 1 out and the bases empty in the top of the 4th. First pitch from McGuire's low for a ball. 1-0 the count to Devin Peterson. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. McGuire comes set from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Misses low for a ball. 2-0 the count. The 2-0 pitch to Peterson. And that one's in there for a called strike. 2-1 the count. On the third baseline, Jimenez fields it, throws across the diamond, scooped there by Fierro. For out number 2. 5-3 on the put out to retire Peterson. That'll bring up the shortstop, Eli Hellman. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance. Popped out to the third baseman. Steps in here with 2 outs and the base is empty in the top of the 4th, leading by 4. McGuire came in with 1 out in the top of the 3rd. On for a second inning of work. This pitch misses on the breaking pitch just outside for a ball. 1-0 the count to Eli Hellman. Brady Peters on deck for the Eagles here in the top of the 4th. Hellman back ready to go. McGuire comes set from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch, ground ball. Evens out the count at 1-1 now to Eli Hellman. Jack McGuire on in relief here for the Hawks. Gets the sign from Chamberlain, comes set. The 1-1 pitch to Hellman. Inside for a ball. 2-1 now the count. To the senior shortstop, Eli Hellman. McGuire comes set. The 2-1 pitch. Low and outside on the breaking pitch. Misses for ball 3. 3-1 now to Eli, with Brady waiting on deck here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. The 3-1 pitch. And Hellman fouls it off back behind home plate. Count runs full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Hellman with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Matt Morrow from Morrow brings you the SHN broadcast booth. Beautiful night here as the sun is set. The lights have taken over. Beautiful night of baseball here at Pflugerville, Texas, and Hendrickson High School. McGuire comes set. The payoff pitch to Hellman. Misses low and outside. A 2-out walk. Gives the Eagles a base runner here in the top of the 4th. First walk issued by McGuire. Only the 3rd walk issued by Hawk pitchers tonight. Brady Peters steps in. He's 0 for 1 in the ballgame. Sacrifice bunt in the 1st. Grounded out to the first baseman, Fierro, in the 2nd. Steps in here with 2 outs and a runner on 1st. McGuire comes set. Throw over to first base, and Hellman dives back in safely. McGuire gets the sign and comes set. Hellman leads off first. Fierro holds him on. Another pickoff attempt, and Hellman dives back in safely. Two and a third innings thrown by Cameron Williams. McGuire, another pickoff attempt over to first base. Fierro saves him there as he digs that one out of the dirt. Hellman dives back in safely for the 3rd time in a row. Still no pitch to Peters here in this at bat. 2 outs in the top of the 4th. 6-2 your score. Georgetown leads it by 4. Now McGuire will step off and reset. Hellman leads off. Fierro holds him on. The first pitch. Peters takes it for a called strike. Top half of the zone strike call there. 0-1 to count now to Brady Peters. 2 outs and runner at first. Hellman will lead off. McGuire comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Peters pops it up right side of the infield. Fierro in foul territory will make the catch for out number 3. P3 in the book to retire Peters. And the Eagles go quietly here in the top of the 4th. No runs on it, no hits, no errors, and a runner left on base. After 3.5, Georgetown 6, Hendrickson 2. More Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. Go to the bottom of the 4th back here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow. BorrowFromMorrow.com. Your family, your future, our focus. For more information, visit BorrowFromMorrow.com. As we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, the Hawks will bring up the 7, 8, 9 hitters. Haslam, Fierro, and Clark. Haslam, 1 for 1 in the ball game. Singled in the 2nd, was left stranded at second base. We'll lead things off here for the Hawks. here in the bottom of the fourth inning, trailing by 4. Fluid on for his fourth inning of work from the windup. The first pitch. Haslam takes it low for ball 1. Want to know the count? The 1-0 pitch, outside corner, called strike 1. 1-1 now the count to Haslam. Fluid through 3 innings, 50 pitches thrown, has allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 strikeout, 1 walk issued. The 1-1 pitch, a swing and a miss, and the bat goes flying. Haslam sends it over towards the third base dugout. No one in danger there as Coach Vieira retrieves it for Haslam. 1-2 the count now to the second baseman, Kevin Haslam. Haslam back in from the right side, ready to go now with a 1-2 count. Fluid gets a sign from the windup. The 1-2 pitch. Ground ball hit out between first and second. Liner lays out for it, but it squirts free from his glove. And that'll be an infield single there for Haslam. Fifth hit of the ball game for the Hawks. And that will bring up Gavin Fierro. He struck out swinging. 0 for 1 in the ball game back in this second inning. Steps in here with the runner on first and no outs. Here in the bottom of the fourth. Haslam leads off first. Fluid now from the stretch comes set. First pitch running Haslam. The throw down from Pernica to Eli Hellman. Boom! Get him. What a job there by Pernica. 2-6 on the caught stealing to cut down the runner Haslam for out number 1. Nice throw from Pernica. And it was also a strike on Fierro, so 0-1 the count there. The 0-1 pitch misses for ball 1. 1-1 the count now. To Fierro with 1 out, and the base is empty. Back from the windup, the 1-1 pitch. Fierro pops it up on the right side, but it looks like this one is going to curl out of play. And now the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. To the first baseman, Gavin Fierro. The number 9 hitter, the left fielder, Brandon Clark on deck for the Hawks here in the bottom of the fourth. 6-2 your score. Georgetown leads it by 4 over Hendrickson. Fluid from the windup, the 1-2 pitch. That one sails up and away for ball 2. 2-2 now the count. Chatter's starting to pick up a little bit more between these two teams here into the fourth inning. The 2-2 pitch fouled off back to the screen. Fierro stays alive in the at-bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, with 1 out. Here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Tomorrow night action, District 23. Georgetown will be back on the road in Cedar Creek to take on the Cedar Creek Eagles. The ball hit out towards second. Talon Ball up with it. He'll throw to first in time for out number 2. 4-3 on the putout to retire Fierro. That'll bring up the number 9 hitter, the left fielder, number 8, Brandon Clark. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth, and the base is empty. Clark 0 for 2 in the ball game, or 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flew out to center field back in the second inning. Steps in here from the right side to face off against Fluid with 2 outs. Fluid from the windup. With DJ Pinkerton, the leadoff man, on deck for the Hawks. The first pitch, and it'll be a bunt attempt. Fluid will field it off a hop. He'll make the throw to first in time. And the Hawks go in order for the first time of the ball game here in the bottom of the fourth. 1-3 on the putout to get Clark. And thanks to the caught stealing, the Hawks go in order. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base after 4 complete. Georgetown 6, Hendrickson 0, or Hendrickson 2. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. back to the top of the 5th inning for the Eagles. Leininger, Ball, and Nations due up. A defensive substitution here as number 17, that's going to be Kyle Rain, comes in at first base for the Hawks. For Fierro. Leininger takes the first pitch from McGuire, low for ball 1. Leininger 0 for 1 in the ball game, has an RBI. Reached on base on a base on balls to score a run. The 1-0 pitch, and Leininger pops it up down the left field line. A long run for the left fielder, Clark, and he won't make the catch. He overran it as it held up. But it lands foul, and the count goes even now on Leininger. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Leininger stays alive in the at-bat thanks to that misjudgment there by Clark. One ball, 1 strike to the left-handed hitting first baseman Riley Leininger. And an RBI ground out in the first. Walked. Moved up to second base on a wild pitch and scored on a sac fly from Andrew Nations back in the 3rd inning. The 1-1 pitch. Low and inside. Ball 2. 2-1 the count now. Here in the top of the 5th. Eagles by 4, 6-2. McGuire works from the stretch. The 2-1 pitch. Leininger hits it out towards second. It takes a hard bounce off the grass and turf over the head of the second baseman, Haslam, into right field. A hard hit ball that sees its way to right field for a leadoff single. 6th hit of the ball game for the Eagles, and that'll bring up Talon Ball. Talon 1 for 2 in the ball game. Scored a run. Stolen a base. Grounded out in the first. Singled and scored a run in the 3rd. Steps in here with no outs and a runner on first. Leininger gets the lead off first. A throw over, and he'll dive back in safely there at first base. Leininger leads off. McGuire comes set. First pitch to ball is in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Talon Ball here. In the top half of the 5th inning. Runner at first. No outs. Leadoff single by Leininger. McGuire comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Low and outside, ball 1. Count evens up at 1-1 now. The second baseman, Talon Ball, with Andrew Nations, the left fielder, on deck. Throw over to first base, and Leininger dives back in safely there. 1-1 to count the ball with no outs. Runner at first base here in the top of the 5th. The Eagles, 1 run in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the 3rd. The Hawks with a run in the first and the bottom of the second. Has us at 6-2. The 1-1 pitch, striped down the left field line, but it curls foul. And now they count 1 ball and 2 strikes to Talon Ball. So Leininger will return to first base, and we'll all reset. Talon will step back in from the right side with the 1-2 count. No outs here in the top of the 5th. Busy week of baseball here for the Eagles. 3 games due to weather from last week. This game here tonight at Hendrickson, tomorrow night at Cedar Creek, and then Friday back home against the Eagles of Cedar Creek. Throw over to first base, and Leininger upstanding safely there at first. And then we got the coaches show Thursday night, 6:45 from the Golden Rule. 6:45 there at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street. And a ball called there on McGuire will allow Leininger to move up to second base. So now Leininger, the runner at second base. 1-2, still the count to Talon Ball. Here with no outs, and now the runner in scoring position. McGuire in for his third inning of work in relief of Cameron Williams. Came on with 1 out in the third inning. Looks into Chamberlain and gets the sign, comes set from the stretch. Took too long there, so Talon Ball takes time and steps out. He'll reset for the Eagles. Now Talon Ball back in from the right side. Leininger leads off second. McGuire will come set. A look back at second base. The 1-2 pitch. And Ball grounds it out down the third baseline, but it'll trickle foul. So Ball will stay alive in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Andrew Nations on deck. There's an RBI sac fly in the third and reached on a base on balls. Scored a run. So he sits at 0 for 0 on the night. McGuire comes set from the stretch. A look back at Leininger at second. The 1-2 pitch. And Ball fisted down the first baseline. And the first baseman runs into the coach down on the first baseline. And they're going to call Talon Ball out on the coach's interference. So 1 out now. We'll bring up Andrew Nations on the coach's interference. There actually is no defined boxes down the baseline. I think that'll be the discussion here. The umpires, quick discussion, now settle back in. So Andrew Nations will step in with 1 out and a runner at second in Leininger. Nations walked and scored a run in the second, and an RBI sac fly in the third. Steps in from the left side for the first time against McGuire. The first pitch, Nations fouls it off down the third baseline, out of play for strike 1. 0-1 the count now. To the left fielder, Andrew Nations with the DH, Jackson Rainey on deck. McGuire comes set. A look back at second base. The 0-1 pitch. Nation fouls it off back to the screen. 0-2 now the count. There's the hustle between the teams to get the ball. Pernica and Cameron Williams collide. So Pernica slid on his shin guards. The 0-2 count now for Nations. 1 out and a runner at second. McGuire comes set. And now a time here is McGuire and Rodriguez playing cat and mouse at the runner Leininger at second base. And Nation steps out and resets from the left side. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runner at second base and Leininger. The 0-2 pitch. Nations ground ball out towards second. Haslam up with it. Is only played at first base. And he 4-3 on the putout to retire Nations for out number 2. That'll move Leininger up to third base now. And Jackson Rainey will step in. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. The runner down at 90 feet away from home plate. Rainey is single and a run scored in the second, grounded out in the third. Steps in here from the left side to face off against McGuire for the second time. The first pitch from McGuire. Rainey hits it into right center field. And a nice play there. Nope, it's down. He couldn't make the play. He laid out for it. So an RBI single by Jackson Rainey as Jaden Ball laid out for it, but couldn't come up with a great attempt. But an RBI single scores the 7th run of the ball game. Nice piece of hitting there by Jackson Rainey to score Leininger. That'll bring up Chance Pernica, who is 1 for 2 in the ball game. Seven to 2 the score. Pernica steps in. First pitch is low for ball 1. A single and a run scored in the second inning. A 2 RBI single by Pernica. And then he flew out to center field in the third. Steps in here with 2 outs and a runner on first. Rainey leads off first. The 1-0 pitch. And Pernica rips it down the third baseline, just fair. That'll move Rainey around from second base. He's headed to third, and he'll be up standing at third base, and it's a double for Pernica down the third baseline. And this is what you wanted to see out of Pernica. Coach Vieira and I have been talking about chances kind of getting back into the flow of it after the injury. And what a ball game tonight. 2 for 3 on the night now for Pernica. A single and a double with 2 RBIs as well on the night. Rainey moves up to third base, and in steps number 8, Jacob Faltasek. With 2 outs and runners at second and third, Faltasek 0 for 2 in the ball game. Struck out looking on a questionable third strike call back in the second inning. Flew out to center field in the fourth. The first pitch from McGuire, outside corner, called strike 1. 0-1 to count to Jacob Faltasek, the right fielder, with Devin Peterson on deck for the Eagles. Faltasek back in from the right side. McGuire comes set, the 0-1 pitch. Misses outside for ball 2, or ball 1. 1-1 to count now to Faltasek. Noah Boris, the courtesy runner at second base for the catcher, Pernica. And McGuire comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Faltasek fouls it off back to the backstop. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now the count here. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. 1 run across in the 5th for the Eagles. A 5-run lead now, 7-2. Faltasek back in from the right side, chokes up, ready to go. McGuire comes set from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Faltasek sends it to left field. Clark is on the run, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. F7 in the book to retire Faltasek for out number 3, but not before the Eagles get 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. After 4.5 innings, 7-2 your score. The Eagles lead it over the Hawks. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. Your family, your future, our focus. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. Proud sponsors of Georgetown Eagle Baseball in the SHN broadcast booth. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball down the third baseline. It's fair. Past the diving Peters into left field. And Pinkerton around first, and he'll head into second base with a leadoff double here in the bottom of the 5th inning. His second extra base hit of the ball game. 6th hit of the ball game for the Hawks. So a runner at second with no outs. And that'll bring up Jaden Rodriguez, the shortstop. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Popped out to the pitcher back in the first, grounded out to third base in the 3rd inning. Steps in here with no outs and a runner on second. Fluid moves to the stretch. Look back at second base. Spins towards second, but no throw. Pinkerton cruises back in, and now he'll take his lead off second base. Rodriguez back in from the right side. Fluid comes set from the stretch. A look at second base. The first pitch to Rodriguez. He squares the bunt, bunts it down the third baseline, but it's going to trickle foul. So 0-1 will be the count now. To the shortstop, Rodriguez. The catcher, Andrew Chamberlain, on deck. Here in the bottom of the fifth, 7-2 your score. Georgetown leads it by 5 over the Hendrickson Hawks. One run in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the fifth for the Eagles. 1 run apiece in the first and second inning for the Hawks. A leadoff double here has Pinkerton at second base. The 0-1 pitch to Rodriguez, way outside for ball 1. Good stop there by Pernica to not let it get past, and now 1-1 to count to Rodriguez. Fluid comes set from the stretch, looks back at second base. The 1-1 pitch. Down in the turf, good block there by Pernica. 2-1 to count now to Rodriguez. "61 pitches through 4 innings for Fluid so far here in the ball game coming into this inning. The 2-1 pitch to Rodriguez, way outside. And Pernica goes out and gets it. 3-1 to count now to Rodriguez. Fluid will come set from the stretch. The 3-1 pitch right down the middle of the plate for a called strike, and now the count goes full to the shortstop, Jayden Rodriguez. 3 balls, 2 strikes with no outs and a runner at second base here in the bottom of the fifth. The Hawks trying to climb back into this ball game, down 5 to the Eagles, 7-2. Fluid comes set. The payoff pitch. Rodriguez sends it into center field. It'll fall for a base hit. Devin Peterson up with it. Pinkerton will be held at third base. Cut off by Leininger on the throw in. And now runners on the corners. Back-to-back hits to start the bottom of the fifth. A double and a single.
Now batting for the Hendrickson Hawks, number 7, Andrew
7th hit of the ball game for the Hawks. And Andrew Chamberlain, the catcher, will step in here with no outs and runners on the corners. Chamberlain 0 for 2 in the ball game. Flew out to right field in the first, flew out to center field in the second, or in the third inning. Steps in here with runners on first and third. Rodriguez at first, Pinkerton at third. Flew from the stretch, a long look in, and gets the sign from Pernica. Square to bunt. Chamberlain bunts it, but foul back behind home plate. 0-1 the count. Safety squeeze on there, trying to get Pinkerton home. Pinkerton, a lot of speed there in that leadoff position. Oh, and 1 the count to the catcher, Chamberlain. Throw over to first base, and Rodriguez steps back in there safely. No outs here in the bottom of the fifth. The corners playing up for the Eagles. Middle infield, a double play down. Fluid comes set. Another throw over, and Rodriguez dives back in. Safely there at first base, Pinkerton. Ventures off, but not being held on there at third base. 0-1 the count to the catcher, Chamberlain. Fluid looks in and gets the sign from Pernica. Another throw over to first base. Rodriguez about 3 steps off. Not a big lead there at first base with the lefty Fluid on the mound. Keeping him close, trying to keep him from advancing to second base. Love to get a double play ground ball and sacrifice the run for 2 outs. The defense can pull it. The 0-1 pitch. Chamberlain grounds it foul. Back towards the third base dugout, and now behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes is Chamberlain. 0-2 count with no outs and runners on the corners for the Hawks. Tomorrow night, Georgetown on the road at Cedar Creek. Eastview at Hendrickson. Here at Hendrickson, Elgin at Bastrop, and Conley at Pflugerville. The 0-2 pitch hit out in between the 5-6 hole. into left field, and that'll score Pinkerton from third base. And now runners on first and second. Chamberlain, the RBI single. So 3 hits in a row.
Now batting for the
Plates
Hendrickson
a
Hawks.
run here in the bottom of the 5th for the Hawks. Eighth hit of the ball game for the Hawks. And now we'll have a visit from Coach Vieira. Quick timeout. Be back with the changes. You listen to Eagle Baseball and SHN. Back here for the pitching change for the Eagles. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander, Georgetown, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 001 in Leander, Texas, brings you this call to the bullpen. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk. Brady Peters, the senior right-hander, will come in from third base and take over on the mound for the Eagles. The pitcher, David Fluitt, will move over to first base, and Riley Leininger, the first baseman, will move over to third base for the Eagles. And in steps Jake McGuire, the pitcher for the Hendrickson Hawks. Seven to 3 the score now. McGuire will take time and step off. Peters comes in. And here it's runners on first and second. So Fluitt still responsible for those 2 men on base. McGuire squares the bunt. Peters' first pitch. Sails high for ball 1. 1-0 the count to McGuire. Runners on first and second. No outs here in the bottom of the 5th. The Hawks with 1 run across. 3 hits in a row. A double and 2 singles. Peters comes set. The 1-0 pitch. A bunt and a miss. Bunt attempt and a miss by McGuire. Now the count 1 ball and 1 strike to McGuire. Rodriguez leads off second. Chamberlain off first. The 1-1 pitch in there for a called strike. 1-2. Now the count. Courtesy runner down at first base for the catcher Chamberlain is number 3, Nick Leckler. Peters comes set. The 1-2 pitch to McGuire. Misses low and outside, ball 2. Count evens up at 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Runners at first and second. 7-3 your score. Georgetown lead cut to 4 now. The Hawks have 1 across here in the inning. A leadoff double by Pinkerton. And back-to-back singles by Rodriguez and Chamberlain. The 2-2 pitch fouled off back to the screen. McGuire stays in live in the at-bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes is Miles Flores. On deck, the designated hitter for the Hawks. Now Peters will call time and have a chance for Nick to come out and visit with him. Make sure they have their signs straight. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the pitcher, Jake McGuire. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Tonight, Georgetown is here at Hendrickson, Elgin's on the road at Cedar Creek, and Conley is at Bastrop. All makeup games from the rainouts last week. Pflugerville beat Eastview on Saturday in their second game. So a lot of teams playing 3 games this week. Peters will come set. The 2-2 pitch to McGuire. Strike 3 called on a breaking pitch across the outside corner for out number 1. And a big out by Brady Peters, his first strikeout of the ball game. That'll bring up Miles Flores, the DH. Flores 1 for 1 in the ball game. Walked and came around and scored a run in the second. Singleton was left stranded at first in the third inning. Steps in here with runners on first and second and 1 out. The first pitch to Flores. Just up and in for ball 1. Want to know the count to Flores. Jimenez on deck. The 1-0 pitch. Misses low and outside. Ball 2. Two 2-0 count now. To the DH Flores. Runners on first and second. Rodriguez off second. Chamberlain off first. The 2-0 pitch. Up high. Ball 3. 3-0 now, the count to Flores. The 3-0 pitch. Right down the heart of the plate for a called strike. 3-1 now, the count. Flores was taken all the way there. The 3-1 pitch. Misses for ball 4. So a 1-out walk has the bases loaded for the Hawks. First walk issued by Peters.
Number 21, Alex Jimenez.
And now Alex Jimenez will step in. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game as he reached on an error in the second, lined out to the shortstop in the third. Steps in here with the bases loaded. And 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Hendrickson trying to get back into this one. Down 4 now, 7-3. Peters comes set. The first pitch is high for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Jimenez with Haslam on deck. Peters comes set from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch misses outside, ball 2. The 2-0 count to Jimenez. That'll draw a visit from Coach Chad Payne, and we'll take a quick timeout. More Eagle baseball in just a minute here on SHN. Quick visit there from the pitching coach, Chad Payne. And now the Eagles reset here. Bases loaded, a 2-0 count to Jimenez. The 2-0 pitch stays just high. 3-0 the count now to Jimenez. Nowhere to put him. Got to go right after him. 3-0 the count now with 1 out. The 3-0 pitch right down the heart of the plate. And that's a called strike. Jimenez taken all the way there. And now 3-1 the count to Alex Jimenez, the third baseman. Steps back in. The 3-1 pitch. And fouled off back to the screen, and now a full count. So Peters does a good job of working back to a full count after he got behind 3 balls and no strikes to Jimenez. Haslam on deck. The 3-2 pitch. Breaking pitch just, I I guess missed high. What a beautiful pitch. Jimenez not swinging the bat at all, and he takes it for ball 4. And that'll bring a run in. Fourth of the ball game. The lead cut to 3 now. That scores Rodriguez. Second walk issued by Peters. It's an RBI for Jimenez. Haslam steps in, 2 for 2 in the ball game. The base is loaded. First pitch to Haslam is in there for a called strike. 0-1 to count. Haslam a single back in the second. And then a single in the fourth. It was caught stealing by Pernica in the fourth. The 0-1 pitch. The ball sent into left center field. Get Devin Peterson on the run. He'll lay out and make the catch for out number 2. But that'll be a nice sac fly as that will score. That'll score Leckler from third base. What a play by Devin Peterson. Leckler, the courtesy runner for Chamberlain, scores the 5th run of the ball game for the Hawks. And now the lead cut to 2.
Now batting for the Hendrickson Hawks.
So Haslam with the sac fly. Kyle Ron steps in. What a play by Devin Peterson to record that second out. Kyle steps in for his first plate appearance, takes the first pitch for a called strike. Runners on first and second. 0-1 to count to Ron. The 0-1 pitch misses for ball 1. 1-1 to count. One pitch, slap foul down the first baseline, out of play. 1-2 now the count to Ron. 2 outs and runners on first and second. Flores down at second, Jimenez down at first. 7-5 as the Hawks have put 3 across here in the 5th inning. The 1-2 pitch, slap foul down the first baseline. Ron stays alive in the at-bat, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Peters comes set from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Ron recorded on the strikeout. Second thrown by Peters, but not before the Hawks pick up 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. After 5 complete, 7-5 your score. Georgetown with a 2-run lead over the Hendrickson Hawks. A quick timeout. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. We go to the top of the 6th inning. The 1, 2, and 3 hitters due up for the Eagles here. Peterson, Hellman, and Peters due up for the Eagles in the top of the 6th. Peterson 2 for 3 on the ninth. The first pitch from McGuire. Peterson slaps it into left field, and that's going to be down 4 extra bases. Peterson around first base. He'll head into second base with an easy stand-up double to lead off the top of the 6th inning for the Georgetown Eagles. 3 for 4 night so far for Devin Peterson. What a ball game for Peterson as he leads off the top of the 6th with his 3rd hit of the night. And that'll bring out a visit from Coach Neely. We'll take a quick timeout. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. And we come back for the pitching change, brought to you by, I apologize, everything's spread out here tonight. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones Financial Advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you this call to the bullpen. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. Now on to pitch here in the top of the 6th inning is number 3, a senior, Nick Leckler. Different sidearm type delivery for the right-handed thrower as he comes on in relief of McGuire. McGuire with 2 2/3 plus innings through 41 pitches, allowed 4 hits, 1 run, walked 1. Has the responsibility of Devin Peterson down at second base. And now in steps Eli Hellman. Eli 0 for 1 in the ball game. First pitch from Leckler. Hellman squares the bunt but pulls it back and takes it for ball 1. I got to catch up here. I apologize. One ball and no strike to Hellman. He'll pull back the bunt attempt, and Peterson will steal third base. Another stolen base by Peterson. Third stolen base of the night. 7th by Eagle base runners, and now a runner just 90 feet away, and Leckler will go to the windup on a 2-0 count to Eli Hellman. 2-0 pitch, and Hellman hits it in past the drawn-in infield into left field. A base hit, an RBI for Eli Hellman will score Peterson easily. As the Hawk defense was all up on the grass, and Eli Hellman just punched it through between the 5-6 hole for an RBI single to score Peterson. And that'll bring up Brady Peters. No outs and a runner at first. Brady Peters will step in. He's 0 for 2 on the night. A sac bunt in the first. Ground out in the second and a pop-up in the fourth. Hellman will still take off for second base, but he'll be caught stealing. 2-4 on the caught stealing. For out number 1. Nice throw by Chamberlain. First base runner caught stealing tonight for the Eagles, and that's a 1-0 count to Brady Peters now. With 1 out and the base is empty. The 1-0 pitch misses low and outside. Ball 2. 2-0 count now to Brady Peters with 1 out. Here in the top of the 6th. 1 run across for the Eagles. 8-5 the lead. The 2-0 pitch. Peters slaps it foul towards the third base dugout. 2-1 now the count. To the senior senior pitcher now, Brady Peters. The Riley Leiniger on deck for the Eagles. The 2-1 pitch. Outside corner, called strike 2. 2-2 the count now to Brady Peters. Leckler back in the windup. Gets the sign from Chamberlain. The 2-2 pitch. Peters chops it foul back behind home plate. Stays alive in the at-bat. Run by Peters. Or the run of Peterson. Charged to McGuire. The 2-2 pitch. And Peters sends it into center field. Jaden Ball, a few steps in, makes the catch for out number 2. F8 in the book to retire Brady Peters. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Riley Leiniger. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. 8-5, Georgetown leads it by 3. 1 run across here in the top of the 6th. Leiniger will step in with the bases empty and 2 outs. Leckler remains in the windup. Face the left-handed hitting Leiniger, who's 1 for 2 on the night. Long look in, and now the first pitch to Leiniger. Leiniger hits it into center field, a 2-out single for the lefty. Another multi-hit ball game. Second hit allowed by Leckler since he came in. The 2-out single will bring up Talon Ball now with 2 outs. Talon 1 for 3 on the night. A ground out. Called out on a coach's interference on a flared foul ball down the first baseline, and then he had a single and scored a run in the third. First pitch in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count. To the second baseman, Talon Ball. Ball back in from the right side. Leckler from the stretch. A look over at first base. The 0-1 pitch. And that one fouled out back into the screen. Now Talon behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. To Nick Leckler, the right-handed reliever on here. In the top of the 6th. Leckler gets the sign from Chamberlain. He'll come set from the stretch. The 0-2 pitch. Misses way outside, ball 1. 1-2 now the count. To Talon Ball with Leiniger down at first base after a 2-out single. Leiniger with a big lead there, being held on by Ron. Leckler comes set, the 1-2 pitch. Up and out for ball 2. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Talon Ball. The Hawks familiar with Talon Ball. He had a 3-run home run in the 6th inning last Tuesday night back at Georgetown. The 2-2 pitch, and Ball puts it into right field. A 2-out single, and that'll move Leiniger up to second base. Good piece of hitting there by Talon Ball. So back-to-back 2-out base hits. As runners on first and second. That'll bring up Andrew Nations. He's 0 for 1 of the ball game. Walked in the 2nd inning and scored a run. Had a sac fly RBI in the 3rd. Grounded out in the 5th inning. 3rd hit allowed by Leckler. Comes set from the stretch. The first pitch to the left-handed hitting Nations. Low and outside, ball 1. Leiniger leads off of second base. Talon Ball leads off first. Leckler comes set in the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Outside corner called strike 1. 1-1 the count now to Andrew Nations. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Leckler comes set. A look back at second base. The 1-1 pitch. Low and inside, ball 2. 2-1 now the count to the left-handed hitting left fielder, Andrew Nations. Jackson Rainey, the designated hitter, on deck for Georgetown. Leckler will come set. The 2-1 pitch. And that'll hit Nations. So now get 2 quick outs when Leckler comes in, but now a hit by a pitch following 2 back-to-back base hits has the bases full of Eagles. First batter hit by a pitch by Leckler. Has loaded him up here in the top of the 6th, and Jackson Rainey will step in. Flyer down to third. Talent ball up to second base.
Now batting number 11, Jackson Rainey.
Jackson Rainey will step in, the DH. He is 2 for 3 on the night. An RBI single in the 5th, an RBI and a run scored in the 2nd, a ground out. Back in the 3rd, the first pitch from Leckler. Misses low and outside, down in the turf. Good scoop by Chamberlain. 1-0 the count. To Jackson Rainey, the junior designated hitter. Back in from the left side, Leckler to the windup. The 1-0 pitch. Low and outside, ball 2. 2-0 the count now to Jackson Rainey. The Eagles love to put some more runs up here, leading by 3 in the top of the 6th. Leckler gets the sign from the windup, the 2-0 pitch. And Rainey sends it into right center field, and if it gets over the head, it is. It's going to get all the way out to the wall. 1 run in as Laniger score. There comes Talent Ball, and here comes Andrew Nations. It's a 3 RBI double on a 2-out at bat for Jackson Rainey, and the Eagles open it back up by 6, 11-5. What a shot there by the DH, Jackson Rainey. Two outs, and then all the damage done. Back-to-back singles, a hit by pitch, and then a 3 RBI double by Jackson Rainey. That'll bring up Chance Pernicka, who's 2 for 3 on the night. First pitch to Pernicka, and he'll hold off and take it on the inside corner for a called strike. 0-1 to count. Trying to get all caught up with all this. I apologize. There's a lot going on there. Runner at second base with 2 outs, 0-1 to count to Pernicka. Leckler from the stretch, a look back at second base, the 0-1 pitch. Pernicka swinging a miss, strike 2. 0-2 the count, 11-5. Georgetown's put up 4 here in the top of the 6th to expand the lead back to 6 runs over the Hawks. Leckler gets the sign from Chamberlain. Comes set in the stretch, a look back at second base at Rainey. And now he'll step off. And everyone will reset. Leckler comes set. The 0-2 pitch. And Pernicka pops it up on the right side of the infield in foul territory. Leckler comes storming off the mound and makes the catch in foul territory for out number 3. But not before your Eagles pick up 4 runs. On 4 hits, no errors. Correction, 4 runs on 5 hits, no errors. And 1 runner left on board after 5.5. The Eagles lead it 11-5. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. Go back here to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Hawks will bring up the 9-1-2 hitters. Trailing by 6, 11-5 after a 4-run top of the 6th inning by your Eagles. 4 runs on 5 hits. Led it off by Devin Peterson. Doubles to start the inning. And he was driven in by Eli Hellman, and then 2 quick outs, and then it back-to-back hits at 2 outs, and a hit by a pitch, and then a 3 RBI double by Jackson Rainey. And now Brandon Clark will step in to face off against Brady Peters. First pitch looking, called strike to Brandon Clark. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Peters, the 0-1 pitch. Ball popped up into the right side, out into the outfield. Devin Peterson will call everyone off, and he'll make the catch for out number 1, F8 in the book, to retire Clark here in the bottom of the 6th, and that'll bring up DJ Pinkerton. He's 2 for 3 on the ball game. Pinkerton, a triple and a run scored in the first, flew out to center in the second, and a double and a run scored in the 5th. Steps in here with the bases empty and a 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. The Hawks trying to claw back into this one again after the Eagles opened it up back to a 6-run lead. First pitch, low and inside for ball 1 from Peters. From the windup, the 1-0 pitch. Check swing, and he went around, couldn't stop it. Now 1-1 the count to DJ Pinkerton. The 1-1 pitch. Off the mask, off the turf and off the mask of the home plate umpire, and he takes it off and takes his time as Pernica heads out to visit with the pitcher, Brady Peters. Now the home plate umpire is all right. He's back behind the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike, the count to Pinkerton. Peters gets the sign from the windup. The 2-1 pitch. Low and inside, ball 3. Not one to give Pinkerton anything out over the plate to go hit. 3-1 now, the count to the leadoff man, Pinkerton. The 3-1 pitch. The ground ball fouled off down the third baseline, and the count goes full now with 1 out to Pinkerton. Jaden Rodriguez, the shortstop, on deck. For the Hawks, Peters gets the sign from Pernica. Now Pinkerton will take a timeout before he can start the windup. The payoff pitch, and that'll hit him. So Pinkerton will take first base. A 1-out hit by pitch.
Next up for the Hendrickson Hawks, number 10, Jaden Rodriguez.
First Hawk batter hit by a pitch tonight. That'll have the 1-out base runner for the Hawks. That'll bring up Jaden Rodriguez with Pinkerton down at first base. Look for Pinkerton to try to swipe a bag here. Quick leadoff runner for the Hawks. Gets a big lead being held on by Fluid. First pitch, swing and a miss on the break-in pitch. 0-1 the count to Rodriguez. Rodriguez 1 for 3 on the night. A pop-up, a ground out, and a single and a run scored. Peters from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch, Pinkerton off and running. Pitch on the inside part, throw down, and Pinkerton steals the bag. So a base runner down at second base now with 1 out. 1-1 the count. That pitch stayed in on Rodriguez. Peters comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, Rodriguez. 1-2 now the count. Pinkerton will lead off second base. Brady Peters will come set from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. And Rodriguez strikes out swinging for out number 2 here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Now batting
Third strikeout by Peters. And now Andrew Chamberlain steps in. He's 1 for 3 on the ball game. Flew out to right in the first inning. Flew out to center in the third inning. Singled. Had an RBI single in the fifth. Came around to score a run. Steps in here with 2 outs and a runner at second base. For the Hawks. Chamberlain back in from the right side. The first pitch from Peters. This is low for ball 1. Ball hit out to short. Hellman up with it. He'll fire across the diamond in time for out number 3. And the Hawks are down here in the bottom of the 6th. No runs on 1 hit. Correction, no runs on no hits, no errors. 1 runner left on base. 6-3 on the putout for out number 3. And we go to the top of the 7th inning. 11-5 your score. Georgetown leads it over Hendrickson. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. Here for the top of the 7th inning. The Eagles will bring up the 9-1-2 hitters. Here in the top of the 7th inning, Faltasek, Peterson, and Hellman. Here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible, offering the easy-to-use mortgage tools, including the handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, borrow from Morrow at borrowfrommorrow.com. And in steps Jacob Faltasek. 0 for 3 in the ball game, a strikeout and 2 flyouts. And he'll face off against the pitcher. Fouled off back behind home plate for strike 1. The new pitcher is the shortstop, Rodriguez. So some defensive changes for the Hawks as Rodriguez goes to the mound. The 0-1 count. And now Faltasek rips that one way foul, but he launched that one. 0-2 now the count. To Faltasek here in the top of the 7th inning. 0-2 the count. Rodriguez from the windup. The 0-2 pitch. And Faltasek sends that one into shallow right field. The right fielder, Pinkerton, will make the catch for out number 1. And that'll bring up the leadoff batter, number 17, Devin Peterson. Peterson steps in here against Rodriguez. 1 out, and the base is empty. First pitch, breaking pitch, catches the inside corner for a called strike. 0-1 to count to Devin Peterson. He's 3 for 4 on the night. The 0-1 pitch, Peterson fouls it off his foot into foul territory. Now behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. He'll walk that one off. Single and a run scored in the first, an RBI single in the second, a double and a stolen base, and a run scored in the 6th. 3 stolen bases on the night for Peterson. So he steps in here with 1 out in the top of the 7th, and the base is empty. 0-2 the count. Rodriguez, the 0-2 pitch, and Peterson fouls it off out of play down the first baseline. Stays alive in the at-bat. 0-2. Eli Helman, the shortstop, on deck for the Eagles. Rodriguez from the windup. The 0-2 pitch. Down in the turf. 4-1. 1-2 now. To Peterson. And Peterson, base hit in the left field. What a job by the junior center fielder. A 1-out single to left field. And that'll bring up Eli Helman, a 4-for-5 night for Devin Peterson. Eli will step in. He's 1 for 2 on the night. Hit by a pitch in the first, popped out in the second, walked in the third, or in the fourth inning, and then singled and caught stealing in the sixth inning. First pitch, misses for a ball. 1-0 the count to Eli. He'd make that an RBI single in the sixth as he scored Peterson after his double. Rodriguez from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Helman fouls it back behind home plate for strike one. 1-1 the count. To your senior shortstop, Eli Helman. Rodriguez comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Peterson off and running. The ball is down in the turf. Chamberlain can't get a hold of it. Fourth stolen base of the night. For Devin Peterson, I have 8 on the night as a team, with 1 caught stealing. 2-1 the count now to Eli Helman. Rodriguez will look back at second. The 2-1 pitch. And Helman sends it down the left field line. If it's fair, it's going to be trouble. And it's just foul as he got ahead of that one just out in front of it. That would have easily scored Peterson from second base, but now the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. $11 hits for the Eagles, or 11 runs for the Eagles tonight. Rodriguez comes set. The 2-2 pitch. Helman fouls it off back behind home plate. Stays alive in the at-bat. 2-2 the count. Rodriguez comes set. A look back at Peterson at second base. And now the pickoff attempt. They throw back behind him. Peterson heads to third base. And he'll be caught there on the pickoff. Nice move by Rodriguez. So that'll go 1-4-5 on the caught stealing, or pickoff attempt there. For out number 2. So that'll erase the base runner for the Eagles. 2-2 pitch, low and outside, ball 3, and now a full count to Eli Helman. 2 outs and no runners on here in the top of the 7th. Swing and a miss on the payoff pitch. And Helman down on strikes for out number 3. And the Eagles go in order. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and no runners left on. After 6.5, 11-5 your score. Georgetown by 6. We go to the bottom of the 7th. More Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. And we're back for the bottom of the 7th inning. And 2 up here will be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. In the bat will be a pinch hitter, number 15. Cameron Williams back in. First pitch from Peters is down low for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch misses for a ball. 2-0 now the count to Cameron Williams. Peters from the windup. The 2-0 pitch. Settles up and out for ball 3. 3-0 the count now. To the left-handed hitting Cameron Williams. The DH Miles Flores on deck with Alex Jimenez due up. And a 4-pitch walk to lead off the bottom of the 7th. Third walk issued by Peters on a relief.
The Hawks, number 24, Miles Flores.
So Miles Flores will step in. Flores 1 for 1 on the night. He's been walked twice, singled and left stranded twice. Singled once, left stranded twice. Steps in here with no outs and a runner on first. First pitch, misses low and inside, ball 1. Williams, the runner at first, being held on by Fluid. Peters comes set, the 1-0 pitch. Outside corner, called strike 1. 1-1 now the count to Miles Flores. 11-5, the Eagles by 6 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Last chance for the Hawks to come back. The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball hit out to the right. Second baseman Talon Ball up with it. Is only played at first base. And 4-3 on the putout to retire Flores. Allows Williams to move up to second base. But now 1 out in the inning. And that'll bring up Alex Jimenez. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Reached on an error in the second, lined out in the third, and walked in the 5th inning. A bases loaded walk for an RBI. Was left stranded on base. Check swing there. Ball gets away from Pernica. It's back here behind him. And that allows Williams to move up to third base. 1-0 the count. So 1-0 count to Jimenez here with Kevin Haslam on deck. Defense at regular depth. The 1-0 pitch low for ball 2. 2-0 the count. To Jimenez. Brady Peters comes set. 2-0 pitch. Stays up and in. Ball 3. 3-0 the count now to Alex Jimenez, the third baseman. Kevin Haslam, 2 for 2 on the night. 2 singles and also has a sac fly RBI. The 3-0 pitch in there for a called strike. Jimenez was taken all the way. 3-1 now the count. The 3-1 pitch in there for a called strike. 3-2 now the count. A full count to Jimenez. The 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Peters comes set. The payoff pitch. Fouled off down the first baseline, out of play. Jimenez stays alive. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. Payoff pitch, ground ball chopped down to third base. Lineker up with it, but he can't come up with it cleanly, and that's going to allow the run to score. Jimenez to reach first base.
Now batting for the Hawks, number 12, Kevin Haslam.
That chopper Jimenez was down the line. Pretty sure they're going to give him an infield single on that one. Now in steps Kevin Haslam with one out and a runner at first. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike one. Eleven to 6 the score. Eagles by 5 right now. Peters, the 0-1 pitch. In there, called strike two. 0-2 the count to Haslam. Jimenez leads off first. Fluid holds him on there. Peters comes set. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. 4 out, number 2. Fourth strikeout recorded by Peters on in relief.
Now batting number 13.
And now a pinch hitter for the Hawks. Josiah Espinoza, number 13. Comes in to pinch hit in place of Ron at first base. So the Hawks down to their final out here in the ball game. A runner at first and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. The first pitch to Espinoza in there, called strike. The 0-1 pitch sails high for ball one. 1-1 the count. To Espinoza. Peters comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike two. Peters releasing the cannon there. Throwing some heat. 1-2 the count to Espinoza. Down to their last strike. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Peters with his 5th strikeout of the night. And the Eagles are victorious. 11 to 6 the final. Georgetown wins it over the Hawks. Georgetown improves to 13-10 and 1 on the season, but more importantly, 8-0 in district play. The Hawks fall to 16-6-1 and 4-4 in district play after that loss. Tomorrow night, the Eagles will be on the road to take on the Cedar Creek Eagles. 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock first pitch. Eastview will be at Hendrickson, Elgin at Bastrop, and Conley at Pflugerville. We'll take a timeout. You may have some dead air. I'm going to warn you now, but I'm going to go visit with Coach Jordan Vieira down on the field. So enjoy the music while it lasts until I can get a hold of Coach Jordan Vieira, and then we'll be back with you live to close it out from the field. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back here on Georgetown Baseball on SHN. Check, check. Coach Vieira joins us live here on the field. Coach, back and forth. Maybe not the cleanest defensive game,
no,
but some timely hitting by some
Yep.
young men stepping up. Chance Pernicka, you and I kind of chatted about that the last few weeks. His timing, is he getting back in the groove? And a good job tonight. Talent Ball continues to put the ball in play, but Devin Peterson, 4 for 5 on the night. What a job there. Offense continues to show up at the right times for this team.
Yeah, you know, we had timely hitting tonight. Obviously not a very clean game defensively. We gifted up 4 runs for them. But offensively, we were able to get the big hit we needed to. We were able to steal some bags and apply some pressure to be able to put us in a situation to make that happen. So our offense was really good tonight. They pitched it pretty well, and our guys were able to swing it just well enough to scratch a couple more than they did.
Crazy week this week. I was trying to talk about it in the pregame. It's just with the rain out last week. A game tonight, tomorrow night we're at Cedar Creek down in Bastrop area. Coach's show on Thursday night, then Friday night back home, a busy weekend, and then Saturday, the first Saturday ball game. So a busy week for this. How does this keep the team focused on struggling but yet coming out with a win and having a good game to start the week off on the winning way?
Yeah, you know, Coach Payne and I were talking before the game of them being able to play such a great game on Tuesday that we did last Tuesday, then having to sit 5 days before we could get back on the field and play again. I was curious how our guys were going to respond, and you know, it was good for them to be able to respond the way that they did and get off on a winning way this week. And for the first long week that we got, you know, 4 games in 5 days or 6 days that's a lot of baseball, but these guys are prepared for it through the tournaments and stuff that we've played. So we're continuing to be excited about the opportunity to get back on the field again tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, Cedar Creek, 7 o'clock. See you there. Congrats, Coach.
Thanks.
The Georgetown Eagles victorious to move to 8-0 in district play, sitting alone the top of the standings of District 23. Another night on the road tomorrow night at Cedar Creek. We take on the Cedar Creek Eagles, where the Eagles take on Game 2 of 4 of the week. An important road trip to start out the best-of-2 series with the Cedar Creek team tomorrow night on the road will be a tough one. If you can't join us in Cedar Creek, join us live here on SHN, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock first pitch. And then don't forget, Thursday night, the Coach's Show live from the Golden Rule. Friday night, back home to take on the Cedar Creek Eagles. And then Saturday, we play the Vandergrift Vipers, I believe it is, our first Saturday ball game of the year on getting ready to go as we get ready for the run to the playoffs. Thanks for joining us live here tonight from the Hendrickson High School in Pflugerville, Texas. 11-6, the Eagles win it by 5. Thanks for joining us on SHN. Remember, it doesn't cost you a dime to be kind. Have a good night, everybody.